your internet, and welcome back to Redneck Radio, the live stream where today get an extra healthy side helping of a big bowl of pinto beans and fried potatoes. I don't often eat pinto beans, but that sounds good today for some reason. With me today is, you all know him, Badger Man. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing all right. I had a stressful day, but otherwise I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm tired. I'll get into that in a minute, but yeah, Sarah, I'm here. Sorry, we were talking behind the scenes. It's my fault. Was gabbing away and didn't realize that that it was 2 minutes past time to start.
I was talking too much. I'm sorry for that.
But we're here now. On that note, though, if I do disappear suddenly, they're working on those polls today. My power's already been out once today for a half hour. So, and they didn't warn me. It just went out. So,
look, I need to chime in there. If they're not doing a good job working on the polls, I, as a German, can certainly help.
I get it.
Hey.
But normally for something like this, we knew it was coming because they laid out all the brand new poles along the side of the road. And but usually they'll like come knock on your door and say, hey, your power's going to go out and be out for however long or whatever. But nope, they didn't. If they did, I didn't hear them knock on the door. So yeah, hopefully not. And this is probably going to be the situation for the next several days because they've got probably at least a dozen phone poles out here to replace. Just right here around my house in the block. So yeah, apologies if it happens. What's going to be interesting is if I can't get on, I can't end the stream because StreamYards doesn't automatically stop. Like
I'll just carry for 5 hours. I'm ready.
So yeah, some of you have seen the title. Most of you got it. A few of you didn't. Yeah, I guess I have a new daughter now. Yesterday, my son, that you all know as J Kid, got married.
Hey.
And a good time was had by all. It was a nice little facility. It wasn't a church. Kind of a banquet hall, but all they do is weddings kind of thing. A very nice setup. They had hey, Mama Minnie, my daughter out there in the chat. She was there having a good time, but she drove back to Michigan afterwards last night. But they had a DJ booth there. Wow. And a nice little bar, and it was a nice place. A big fountain outside to take pictures in front of, and it was a nice time. And I just had a ball watching the grandkids dance.
Is that why you're so tired from watching other people dance?
Yeah. Well, I'm not used to being out like that and sitting in a regular chair because I sit in a recliner most of the time, because of my condition, keep my legs up so they don't swell. And I was there a good 5 hours yesterday. Oh, wow. It wore me the heck out.
Almost made it. That's how you know you're old, when you watch other people dance and that gets you tired.
Yeah, I almost made it to the end, but had to poop out about an hour before it was supposed to end anyway. I just couldn't do anymore. And no, those kids danced. Once the dance floor was opened, they went on and on and on like the Energizer Bunny. I mean, it was just great to watch. We were having a good time. And some of you have seen the videos. I know some of you haven't because you don't have Twitter, but I did post them on Twitter. But I'm going to try something here. For those of you that haven't seen them and don't have Twitter, in theory, you're supposed to be able to play videos with sound and everything on StreamYards. Now, I've never tried it, so I don't know how well it works.
You need to share the screen. You know that, right?
Right. But I've been hesitant to use it because I know that Hangouts was terrible at it. It was awful. I mean, you could
Yeah,
do
but
it on Hangouts, but it was awful.
yeah, but StreamYard, I've tried it once before and it worked pretty like very well.
Well,
The video quality was, very good. Audio, I think audio didn't come through for us when so I I did with my commentator colleague, and he played it, and the audio was only coming through his microphone, like from his speakers through his microphone, and so I heard it, but video quality was really good.
we're gonna try this. Okay, is the video player up on the screen now?
Yeah.
All right, here we go, and boom.
That is so adorable. And there is no sound. At least I don't hear it. Maybe
No sound. Well, that's a shame.
Maybe the viewers do hear it and I just don't, but
yeah, could be. But that, folks, is J Kid.
He looks like you, just younger.
He does.
It's like the same person, only like Benjamin Button style, just
and his new bride, and I think she looks very beautiful.
They're a cute couple. They're a really cute couple.
And but yeah, that was that was them dancing. Of course, we had all had a good time. Yeah, Mama Minnie says, "Hey, I know them guys." Yeah, one of them's your brother.
You should know them. I
Oh,
would be worried if you didn't.
By the way, Mama Minnie, how come I don't have your new phone number yet? Is it on purpose? You trying to hide from me? Come on.
She's trying to tell you something. She's trying to tell you something.
She just got a new phone with a new number, and she needs to be giving it to old Dad and to Mom, because if Mom don't get it too, she's going to be butthurt.
Jacob is in the chat saying worst stream advertisement NA. Jacob, congratulations, man. I gotta say I'm very happy for you.
Yeah, it was a good time. Now, while I'm at it, I have one more that I want to show, and it's of my grandkids dancing, and I want you to. I tell you what, these kids, they got the moves. Now it's going to take me a second to get the right video up here. Of course, half of them there. 8 of my grandkids were there, and half of them are half black, and the other are half Apache. So they were born with rhythm, where I and J Kid, obviously, as you can see, as very white people, don't have. Right. So let's get back over here and share the stream. And share screen. I'm sorry, guys. I'm old.
We're very understanding.
I struggle with this stuff sometimes. It's what it is.
There it is.
Yeah. Here we go. Yeah, those are mine.
That is wow. That's better than I ever danced. But then again, I'm probably just as white as you are.
We're gonna watch here in a minute.
Oh, they're flossing. No.
And there's my grandson that I call Bulldozer, showing him how it's done. Anyway,
it's just adorable.
Yeah, I am. I'm going to quit boring you with my videos, like a proud dad does, and grandfather and so forth. But I wanted to share that with you. I don't know, chat, did you get the sound? Was it just?
No, they said on the first one, they said they were not getting any sound either. So I would assume they didn't get any sound on this one too.
Yeah, well, that's a shame, because it's supposed to share the sound too. But
I think you need to set that up properly, and then maybe it does. But
yeah, well, maybe next time I go to use them. But anyway, that was my yesterday, and we had a good time. We had a ball. I'm just exhausted from watching everybody party. Uh, I just and no, Papa did not dance. They tried to get me to. The grandkids did. Come on, Papa, come dance. No, no, you
the
don't
day,
understand.
the day we get to see a video of you dancing, like a video that was created, I would say, past your 55th year on this earth.
Yeah.
The day we get to see this, oh, it's gonna be amazing.
Trust me, I have no rhythm. I am definitely a white boy when it comes to dancing.
That's why. That's why. And the the I don't want to say cripple. Monkey is the cripple. You're not a cripple, but you're
Well,
close.
I am. I mean, I'm better now since my surgery. I haven't had to
See,
use my cane, but
see.
um,
But seeing an old cripple dance, come on, there's nothing better than that. I'm sorry, an old cripple without rhythm. If people just want to see someone without rhythm dance, I could just record myself, you know.
yeah. And a lot of people are saying J Kid looks like me. Trust me, he and I both have heard that numerous times in our life. In fact, I used to often get people say to him, "Is that your brother?" No, it's my dad.
Uh-oh.
But yeah, I mean, even I didn't know much of her family. I think he's ashamed of us, and it's all right. I get it. We're a bunch of rednecks, but he kind of kept her away from the family. I don't even know her very well, but I do know her some. But I had never met any of her family. But I was relieved when I found out that apparently they're just as redneck as we are. So,
hey, match made in heaven.
There you go.
Oh, sorry, match made in Alabama. I'm sorry.
But we sat at a reserve table. The parents, we had our own table. And the first word out of her mom's mouth was, "Your son looks just like you." And she says, "He's a really nice guy. Are you?" And I said, "Not really." And he's got you fooled. But yeah, no, it was a good time. And, some tears were shed, happy tears mostly, but it was a good time, and everybody, I don't want to hear anybody tell me that rednecks don't know how to party. There's more videos. I could share more with you, trust me. Some that show Mama Minnie and my other daughter, but yeah, I won't do that to you. If you want to see it, it is on my Twitter feed if you've got Twitter. But yeah, that was my yesterday, and I was tired. I'm tired. I'm still tired. I come straight home. I got home about a little before 8 o'clock my time. No, I guess it's about 7:30 my time, and I went straight to bed. I didn't sleep for very long, but I did go lay down.
Jeez. I could not sleep that early, but if you're that tired, yeah.
Oh gosh, I was just that tired. I had to lay down. Did have to lay down. Oh, and you'll appreciate this. He confided in me on what his honeymoon. Well, not really his honeymoon, but I guess it's more like a honeymoon gift. From his wife. He found out yesterday what it is. You know that J Kid's a Lions fan.
Please let it be a cheesehead. Let it be a cheesehead, please.
No, it's not. For this Sunday's game, I think he'll correct me if I'm wrong. He has, I believe, their midfield seats for the Lions Minnesota game.
Oh, look, I'm not sure that's the best thing because I'm expecting the Vikings to win. I'm sorry, J Kid, but But I hope you have a lot of fun, and maybe they pull an upset.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing is he gets to be at a live NFL game,
Yeah.
which neither of us are. Midfield field level, he says.
This is the most expensive seats in the game,
Yep.
other than VIP booths and
Exactly. I
stuff.
told him to make
Damn.
himself a sign that says "Hi, Dad," so that if he makes it on camera, that I can see.
That would be awesome. Yeah. Or just do it like this. What was the guy's name? Carson King, where he just said, "I need more beer. Here's my Venmo."
Yeah. I did say that. I don't know if his wife is a football fan. I kind of get the picture she's not, but ask her if she could if you can take your dad. It wouldn't be much of a honeymoon, would it?
No, come on. Also, would you really want to watch the Lions of all teams?
Just to go to an NFL game. I have not been to an NFL game since I went to a Colts game way back
when Peyton was playing.
No, before Peyton.
Before.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
It's when our running back was, oh my gosh, my brain. I'm having one of them old people brain farts. J-Kid helped me out. He came over from the Rams. Very famous.
Falk?
No. He went to the Rams. Even before Falk. Eric Dickerson. Thank you. Eric Dickerson was running back.
Now, since you said it before Falk, I was thinking the times of Unitas.
No, so I haven't been to an NFL game since then. Can't afford it.
Wow.
The tickets alone are very expensive, and then once you get there to buy a beer and a hot dog or nachos or something, it's just fantastically expensive.
Yeah, that's why I don't understand why you're still rooting for the Colts, because you should be rooting against them so the ticket prices go down. But yeah, you gotta think. Come on, you gotta think. Like 2017 should, or probably 2011. The end of 2011 should have been a good season for it. They went 2-14. Nothing was going right. Ticket prices should be way down.
Yeah, we weren't really a winning team then, because we had old Mr. Crybaby quarterback then. Because that was before Peyton. And again, my brain is going stupid.
You're talking Jeff George?
Jeff George, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And J-Kid at the same time. I'm sorry. I'm just tired. And when I'm tired, my memory gets even worse. So, yeah, we weren't exactly on a winning streak in those days. But I went because I had free tickets. The person that owned the business that I worked for, I worked at a car dealership. He had tickets. He had tickets to all the sporting events in town, because he's rich. And every once in a while, if he couldn't go, he'd give them away. I got to go to some Pacer games. Man, his Pacer seats were absolutely phenomenal.
Damn.
Right behind the visitor bench. On the floor.
Oh.
Yeah.
They were great. That is nice.
It was great for going there and talking smack to the other team because you're right behind them.
You were that kind of guy, weren't you?
Oh boy.
Yeah,
I'll tell you a story here in a minute. One time when I went on his dime, but yeah, he gave me tickets and Harbaugh was actually before Peyton. He was. This would have been even before Harbaugh.
Yeah, George was before Harbaugh.
Yeah, because our winning ways actually started with Harbaugh.
Yeah, was it the 91 season where they went 1-15?
Oh my gosh, I think it was earlier than that.
91 was the last season with Dickerson.
Yeah, and our coach at the time actually had a heart attack on the sideline one time.
Ron Meyer?
No, before Meyer. Had a long name.
Rod Dowhauer?
Was it Dowhauer? I think it was Dowhauer, but yeah, he had a heart attack or something.
But
Some kind of
when
attack on.
Dowhauer was the head coach, Dickerson
Yeah.
wasn't on the team.
Well,
There's no overlap.
that was before. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Wasn't that recently, like a year or two ago, that what's his name? Defensive coordinator Broncos a couple years ago. I think he's the Rams now. What's his name? Really old guy. Was a head coach too. Wade Phillips. Didn't he have a heart attack on the sideline or something like that too?
Could have been. It's
I
happened.
remember he got leveled once. He got leveled by a player once. He was very unlucky there, and he had to be carted off the field. But I think he also had a heart attack at some point too. And but yeah.
Yeah, when I last time I went, it was probably the playoffs.
Jim Mara, the legend.
Probably, or it might have been March of Broda, because March of Broda came in just before Harbaugh did. So
yeah. But after Meyer, so, and after Dickerson left, so
but that, yeah. And I took some young fellow from our church with me, and some drunks behind us spilt beer all over us.
Oh,
and this would have been at the old Hoosier Dome, that no longer exists. It was torn down. So I got torn down. But yeah, I told you I'd tell you a story. I went to a Pacer game on my boss's dime one time, and like I said, they were right on the floor behind the visitors bench. And even in those days, I didn't drink a lot, but I decided, hey, you know what? I want a beer. And
then you found out how much it costs.
No, I had one beer, but I got a really big one.
Okay, I see. That's smart.
So
always get them big. That way, it's cheaper on the. I don't know. How do you measure that? Fluid ounce, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I went and got a beer, and I'm sitting there drinking. What I'm not taking into consideration, this was a televised game.
Uh-oh.
So being behind the visitors bench, of course, I was on screen.
Yeah.
And my mom, who barely ever watched sports, but if she did, it was basketball, watched the game.
Oh. And she didn't know you were going?
Oh, well, she knew I was going, but that wasn't the thing. So I get home, and a little bit after I get home from the game, I get a call from my mom.
Uh-oh.
How you doing? I'm okay. Yeah, you doing? Fine.
So how was the beer?
Yeah. So how was that beer? Because she's dead against drinking, right? My mom was. I'm like, you saw that, huh? Oops.
The moment you hear the word beer coming from your mom's mouth, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Well, I only had the one, Mom, but it was a really big one, wasn't it?
See, in that situation, it's better to take a little one, That way, because I just had that little one. No, you didn't.
Yeah. But I didn't. It didn't even occur to me that it would be televised, And if it was, I didn't expect my mom to be watching. Like I said, she rarely ever watched sports. Dad never did. But Mom did.
The thing is, I had a couple of, let's say, media appearances here in Germany. Every time I had to tell my mom in advance to be like, listen to the radio. That time, that day, otherwise she wouldn't have heard it. It was because I was doing commentary for the 4th division soccer team, and that was on the local radio, or parts of it were, and so I had to tell her, I had to be like, that day, that time, listen to the radio, and fair enough, she did. And not just did she listen to the radio, we don't have a radio, or at the time at least, we didn't have a radio in our house, or in our parents' house, or my parents' house. So she went out to her car, started the car to turn on the radio. And it was like in November or something. It was cold.
That's odd that you wouldn't have any radio at all in your house.
Now we've got an Alexa, which obviously can play radio, but at the
Well,
time, no, we didn't have one. It was like 2016 or
I
so.
guess it's different here in America because we're all about having our alarm clocks and so forth, you know, and
Yeah, no,
almost all
well,
alarm clocks have a radio in it.
yeah, we just have. I mean, we just use our phones as alarm clocks. You know,
And my
we are
dad,
that far.
my dad still has that Radio Shack component stereo that he bought back in the 70s, and it still works.
Yeah, I look. When I said we didn't have a radio in the house, I was accurate, but they did have a. I don't know from when this thing is. You know, back in the day when the radio was a furniture piece and not just, you know, a little device that you put somewhere, and you know, when it was like as big as a chair, you know, or as big as a table. I have one of those. I'm looking at it right now, like wooden. It's like I don't know, it's probably
We
from
had
the
one of those.
50s or something like that. And it's got a record player in the very top, like built in as well.
Yep, we had one of those,
and that one still works too.
And the one we had wasn't even stereo; it was a mono. So when you played records
same with this
on it,
one.
if they were stereo, both tracks wouldn't come out. They sounded
Same with this one. That's also mono.
Yeah, but we had one of those. Absolutely, listened to it lots of times. Had to warm that puppy up for a while before you listened to what you want to listen to. But
yep. But this one, I have to say, that's why I'm saying I was accurate when I said we didn't have a radio in the house at the time, because that one was standing in my stepdad's garage at the time. Now it's here, now it's in my room, but at the time it was standing in my stepdad's garage, and it was just. It wasn't connected to electricity, so it wasn't working. You know.
Yeah, Clinton Whitaker.
Hold on, I need to address this instantly, otherwise Sean's going to spread rumors. No, I don't have mono. I'm not Sam Darnold. I wish I was in terms of skill and quality of throwing
mono.
Football.
For those not in the know that are too young means it's not stereo. Yes. People, there was a time before all music and sound was stereo.
Hold on, I think for the really young ones, you have to explain stereo is the thing that's not Dolby Surround, you know? Some kids don't even know what stereo is anymore. Come on.
Clinton Whitaker said before working in pharmacy, I worked for over a decade with Radio Shack to pay for pharmacy school. Hey, good on you. My dad sure spent a lot of money at Radio Shack back in the day. But he bought this thing probably about 74, 75. It was one of the first component stereos. You had to buy each piece separately. You had to buy the receiver. You had to buy the tape deck. You had to buy the record player. All of it was separate. That was the thing back then, was the component stereos. And but it was a tube. It was not transistor. So. But it still works.
Yeah,
it still works. That's the thing about some of that old way outdated technology. It lasts longer than the stuff they make today.
And the thing is, funny enough, the same thing is true for it's hard to say. I don't want to be like a glorifier of socialism, but even socialist stuff, some of that stuff they built still works, still perfectly fine, and just doesn't break. Even if you try to break it, it's like
as a socialist, they were broke and they couldn't afford to be buying one.
Exactly. No, but I remember my father had I think it was a moped. Yeah. And it was like a East Germany moped. It was quite expensive. At least when you bought it at the time. I think he bought it like in 91 or 92 when it was, obviously the wall was down and Germany was won, and that kind of thing came cheap, really cheap. And that thing, I think, was working until 2008, 2009. It was working longer than my father was alive.
Wow.
Which my father died 2007, age 45.
Wow.
So now you know how long that thing lasted. It's absolutely incredible.
Clinton says, Clinton Whitaker, I thought I bought all my electronics there as well and helped with the parts. I wish they were still around for those parts. We still got it's a very small one, but we've still got a Radio Shack here near my house. I can go there once in a while if I'm looking for like a cord or something like that, But they're not as big as they used to be. They, back in the 70s, you understand, Radio Shack was the Best Buy of that day. That's if you wanted to buy electronics and stereo equipment, you went to Radio Shack. It's just the way it was. But then Best Buy and different places like that came around, and
see, I just order my cords and whatever I need, and the thing is, I do need a lot of cords. I'm going through them like really quickly because those USB cords, I think, was micro USB to USB.
Yeah,
they break so quickly. But I just get them from Amazon. They're really cheap. Usually what I do is whenever I've gone through all of them, I just buy a pack of 5 for like $10 or 10 euros or something. Because they're really cheap, and it's just I would not go to. We don't have a Radio Shack here, obviously, but I wouldn't go to the equivalent of a Radio Shack here to buy cords. I just wouldn't. For stuff. For example, recently I went to a store here to buy a new what do I think you would call that, a shaver?
A what?
Shaving your beard.
Mm-hmm.
With not a razor, not where you like
electric shaver.
Yeah, exactly. And a new electric toothbrush.
Uh-huh.
And for that, I went there. I was like, I don't like buying that kind of stuff online because I feel like you never know what you're gonna get.
Something like that, we'd go to Wally World, go to Walmart.
We don't have a Walmart, We don't have such a thing. We have we have supermarkets, but we don't have a Walmart or anything coming close to that.
Well, in a sense, you're not missing something, but if you ever want to laugh, go to Walmart at about midnight and watch the people. It's pretty hilarious. But
if you want to laugh at people in Germany at midnight, go to any of the Berlin clubs.
Well, I'm just saying, and there's videos online that prove my point, and they're absolutely true. At midnight or after at Walmart, people show up in the darndest clothes, in their pajamas.
Oh yeah.
I
mean, why would you care? Why would you care? Like if I went to Walmart, I don't know, 2 a.m., I wouldn't care. I would go in my pajamas.
Well, the pajamas is pretty tame to some of the things you'll see. Trust me.
It's
pretty bad.
I don't want to know anything else. Okay. Thank you very much.
It's pretty bad. Let's just put it this way: that Walmart is the preferred shopping place of white trash everywhere. Trust me.
I see. And Clinton asks, does Germany have anything like a dollar store, because they sell cords too? We do have dollar stores, but they don't sell cords here. I don't know why, but they just don't. But we do have dollar stores, certainly.
Yeah, we'll go to dollar stores for stuff like that too, and see if you can find them. But back in the 70s, if you wanted to buy electronic equipment, even computers, it was Radio Shack. That was the big name then. But then you come around and you had Walmart's coming in, which had an electronic section, that sold TVs and stuff like that. And then even more Best Buy, which focused on electronics, but were these big mega stores, and they just kind of put them under. They couldn't compete.
Yeah. The thing here in Germany is, I think Walmart wouldn't be able to exist because, again, we have these supermarkets that basically they offer a whole lot, and they don't have the biggest electronic section, but they do have one. They do sell TVs and stuff like that, but they don't sell, they don't have a wide range. And I wouldn't go there to buy one unless they have like a really good offer. But one, they don't, from what I've seen, they don't sell cords. That's maybe too simple for them or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
They just sell like big, TVs and
All
maybe
that
some
stuff at
computers
Walmart.
and
Yeah,
but Walmart wouldn't work. Walmart is open 24/7, right? In the US.
most of them are. Not
Most of
all.
okay, yeah.
Most of them are.
Yeah.
Jake had
It's
actually used to work there
mm,
in one of the local Walmarts, and he worked the third shift. Went in like 11 and got off at 7 or something like that.
mm-hmm.
Deck Trains to Circuit City. I am aware of Circuit City, but we don't really have them around here. There might be one or two, and I'm not aware of it, but they're just not a big presence here where I live. But
Yeah,
I do know what Circuit City is. Yeah.
But the thing here is Walmart wouldn't work in Germany because they couldn't open 24/7. Every state in Germany, every one of the 16 states in Germany has a law that allows shops to only open at certain times.
Mm.
It's the stupidest law. One of the stupidest laws that Germany has, or the states certainly have. But it's there, and it's the way it is, and I just hate it. Like let the shops decide when they want to open. I don't understand why you have to go. Oh no, only the state knows when you should open.
Yeah,
This
that's
dumbest
weird.
thing.
That's weird. Of course,
And there are
that.
some exceptions in some states. For example, in Berlin, there are a couple of supermarkets that are allowed to open. I think it was a Monday 8 a.m. and then they can be open like until all the way until Saturday 8 p.m. or something like that, or 10 p.m. or something like that. But they have to be closed on Sundays, and
Oh yeah,
it's stupid.
We used to have them at Montgomery Wards too. Shoot, there used to be so many department stores around here that no longer exist. We had GC Murphy, we had Tops, we had Montgomery Wards. There was another one that went down after that. And of course you had the Sears, the J.C. Penney's, the Woolworths. Yeah, Monkey Wards. I had a bicycle from Monkey Wards, actually. Bought a 10-speed there once. Saved my money forever and bought it when I was 16. It's funny how things change. But somebody mentioned and I've lost track of who it was, Angry Illinoisan. Walmart would make it work if they wanted to be there in Germany, and they would. They have a presence in other places in Europe. They have a presence in the UK. They don't call them Walmart. They go by another name.
The thing is, Walmart attempted to build a presence in Germany, but they decided to leave. They at some point they were like, nope, we're out of here. They tried and they failed. So the history, the history of Walmart in Germany proves your point false, Angry Illinoisan. Walmart would try to make it work, but they failed in Germany.
Who was it?
I'm just saying.
Mentioned that. Oh, Deck Train, Toys R Us. I loved that place.
He's listing all the shops.
I love Toys R Us. I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. Yeah,
we do have Toys R Us,
and I still love to hang out in Toys R Us. It was great.
Of the ones Dectran mentioned there, we do have Toys R Us and TJ Maxx. The other ones we don't have here, but those two made it to Germany.
They closed down all the Toys R Us here.
Oh, I think Toys R Us completely went under, didn't they?
Yeah,
the whole thing went. Or did it? I'm thinking right now. Did they? Oh yeah, defunct April 21st, 2018 in Germany, and then April 24th in the UK, June 29th in the US. Yeah, they're okay. They're gone. But yeah, we used to have them. Now they're gone.
Yeah, I love that place, man. If a video game come out, that's where my preferred place to buy it. Even if I might have to pay a little more for it there, because I could go and check out all the other toys and action figures. I was a grown adult, but I didn't care. I loved it there.
Yeah.
You know. Hey, Alex, getting ready for work. I see you said you were smoking on the toilet. Yeah, it's a very redneck thing to do. My toilet has an ashtray right next to it.
It's also a very British thing to do.
But
unless you're part of the upper class, in which case obviously you don't do that.
But, it was. I mean, I do miss Toys R Us. I do miss it. It was a great place to not just buy toys, but to buy video games, to buy board games. Man, they had all the board games there. You know, any board game you could think of, you could.
But they were hella expensive.
Yeah.
But yeah, we usually, like, when my parents bought a board game for me, we usually bought it in the supermarket. They used to have like at least 4 or 5 there. They didn't have like all the board games, but they had a couple, and it was rotating stock as well. So, if you're coming in at the right time, you might get a good one. So, yeah, that's how we did it.
Yeah, I just really miss it. Sorry that it went away, but like I said, there's a lot of stories, and that's true just about anywhere. Once you live to a certain age, I'm sure we'll get to a time where there'll be a generation that says, geez, I remember Walmart. Remember those? You know what I mean?
I'm still wondering if there will ever be a generation that says, man, I remember Amazon.
But things change. But yeah, there was a lot of department stores that were around when I was younger that aren't around now. Kmart, used to love Kmart too, when they'd have their blue light specials. They'd get on the intercom, and today's blue light special shoppers is, and it'd be whatever item it was, and 50% off for the next hour.
At least they didn't have a red light special. I would be worried about that one.
Well, they called it a blue light special because they had this blue light that was on wheels that they would wheel around to whatever the item was that was 50% off for the next hour.
That is just amazing.
So that you could spot it from across the store. It was a blinking blue light, it turned around like a cop car light is what.
That is amazing. I like that. That's a great concept for a store. Just go, you know what? That's exactly where the good offers are.
Yeah, there was a lot of good deals at Kmart. And when they finally went under and sold out, man, we went there like right before they closed, and they had the shelves were getting pretty empty, but they had tons of great deals, because they were just trying to get rid of all their stock before they shut the door. They were willing to sell it at almost any price. It's just incredible. I remember when a local department store chain called Tops closed down when I was a kid. My mom took me with her, and I took my allowance with me, which I think I had all of about $5.
No,
but this would have been like 1970, 1971, somewhere around in there. And I come home with the biggest haul for that $5. $5 went a lot farther in 70, 71 than it does
obviously.
now. But everything was just, it was priced to go. It was just dirt cheap, everything. And I come home with everything you could imagine. Cap guns,
Hold on. What are cat guns?
Cap guns, CAP.
Oh, cap. I thought
like the cap you wear on your head, but it's called cap because that's what you put in them to make them work. They were.
I thought you were a horrible animal abuser shooting cat guns. Oh my god.
Yeah, cap gun. In fact, somebody, I think Michael Weiner, sent me a tweet earlier today, asked me if I remembered the smell. And I said, I remember it like it was yesterday.
See,
How could you not forget when you grew up on them things?
uh,
Do you know what a cap gun is, Badger?
I don't know.
Okay, it's a little toy gun.
I'm just thinking about the concept of a cat gun now.
It's a little toy gun,
Mhm.
obviously.
Yeah.
And in those days, they made them look somewhat realistic. You know, they didn't have to worry about not making them look real because kids weren't getting shot every time
Yeah.
they turned around. But anyway, you opened up the side of it and you bought a roll of what was called caps.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a roll of, it was like a tape roll, but every inch or so was this bubble with black powder under that bubble.
Ah, okay.
So as the tape fed through, the hammer would come back, hit that bubble of black powder, and it'd pop.
Ah, I
You
see.
pull the trigger, and it'd feed the next one up to it. Pop. Um, and man, just the smell of black powder. It's just a smell you're not going to forget. And I noticed that the stream is buffering, and I think that the chat is noticing too.
Yeah, just reload, guys. If you can hear us. Oh no, refreshing's still not there. Yeah.
Let me try reloading mine. They've pulled this on me before.
Yeah, it happens every now and then. It sucks.
It does.
I'm reloading like a madman right now.
Yeah.
Maybe if we just all keep reloading, it will make it worse.
Over at that Bloodwing channel. There must be something going on. People reloading like crazy.
Yeah, we're naturally DDoSing YouTube right now with 30 people or something.
Yeah, well, we're the number keeps fluctuating greatly because everybody's trying to reload.
Yeah.
With
oh, there you go. I got it back.
There we are. Are we back, guys?
We should be. Yeah.
Are we back to all 12 that are watching at the moment?
The rest will come.
They're back. Yay, we're back. Haha.
This is so annoying. I don't know what even causes that.
I don't know.
If there's something between StreamYard and YouTube that's causing that issue, if it's on StreamYard's end, I would love to look at the back end and just try to fix this.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff that gets me excited. I know I'm weird, but
I'm pretty sure it would happen once in a while with Hangouts too. It's just I've noticed.
Yeah, but a lot less.
This is twice now that it's happened to me. The other time was way worse. I mean, I finally had to end up shut that stream down.
Yeah, I remember that one. I was watching that one. Well, I was watching a part of it, obviously. Yeah. But yeah, I remember.
But yeah, I don't know what the issue is. Whatever it is, YouTube, fix your stuff. Doggone it.
You know they're not gonna. You know they're not gonna.
Yeah. Mama Minnie, did you ever answer me about your phone number? I don't expect you to.
Yeah, she did. She said, I think she said she's gonna do it after the stream. If I remember correctly.
Okay.
And she said she thought she gave her new number to you, but apparently she didn't.
No.
But yeah,
her mom thinks I have it.
Yeah.
Up and down that she has.
Maybe you did forget it.
You are
old. You know?
You got to know my wife. She gets like that sometimes, and she thinks I got it, and I'm keeping it from her. But I don't have it. I didn't even know that she changed her phone until my wife told me. Do you got her new number? No. Why she got a new number? But anyway. Yeah, I just missed her reply, apparently.
Yeah.
I was probably trying to get that video to function.
I think that's when she replied, yeah. I saw it, I remember it, but yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, that's what life's been like in my family for the last couple of days. You know, doing the
Yeah.
wedding thing, and here's the amazing part. And the place was owned by a people named Jones. It was right on the door,
Mm.
right next door. In fact, you could access the place through the back parking lot of this other place, was
Mm.
a funeral home by the same family.
Oh
Jones.
God.
And I told Jacob when we were standing outside smoking, they had a little area outside for smokers. I'm like, kind of convenient that.
Yeah.
The funeral home over there, you get married and just save the trip, save on time. Just go
Yeah,
to the
just
funeral home.
stay there until it's over, just you know.
But yeah, it was a good time. It really was a good time, and a pretty good crowd considering that it was a Wednesday, middle of the week.
Mm.
Because I'm sure a lot of people had to work and this, that, and the other.
A random American asks, do they offer a discount on one if you use the other?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know. Yeah.
Yeah. If we get married at your place, can we get a discount here? Just
See, Alex, have a good night, bud.
see ya.
But
Oh, that is actually that's savvy business right there.
it is. I'm pretty sure they're the same family. Of course, Jones is a pretty common last name. I'm
Yeah,
to be honest.
but if those two are like physically connected, you can go from one to the other.
Yeah,
There's a good chance it's the same
there was two
family, same
entrances to
owner,
the
same
place.
whatever.
The front entrance was all its own, but the back entrance actually cut through the parking lot of the funeral home before it got to the road.
Hmm.
So they're connected in the back.
Yeah.
And the whole area was called Jones Crossing. So
Whoa. Okay.
the family has to own this whole area right here.
Damn. They're the really rich ones. Maybe there's a lot of people just dying in that area. That's how they got rich.
Well, that's not necessarily so. There's areas in Kentucky that you see the name Good. That's good with an E on the end of it.
Yeah.
All over the place. And part of my family are Goods, but we're not rich. Just because our name is everywhere down there. My name's not Good, but it's part of the family. And yeah, sometimes it's just because you happen to be a descendant of the person that owned
it. Obviously.
But random American funerals are lucrative. Who you telling? It's a racket. You got no choice.
Yeah.
You got to pay one of these people to, even if you're getting if you're not getting buried, if you're getting cremated, you got to pay, and you're going to pay dear for it. Because
the thing is also everyone's gonna die at some point.
Yeah,
like that's everyone will be a customer at some point.
In the funeral home business, it's never you're never going to be without customers.
That's the first thing. Everyone will be a customer at some point. Second thing, not a lot of people want to work in that field because you have to work with dead people, and for a lot of people, that's like, yeah, I don't want to work with dead people. That's sad. You need to be a special kind of person. You need to be mentally tough to be able to do this. And so you have a lot of customers, a lot of demand, but not a lot of supply. So what's going to happen?
Yeah, it's a racket. I mean, and it costs an arm and a leg. And what else you going to do? You're stuck. You got to do it. You know.
Yeah.
And they charge dearly for funeral services, even for a simple cremation, was just outrageously high. And my goodness, it just.
I'm just thinking right now, if I ever start a cremation business, I'm just gonna call it, like, what do you call it? Crematory? What's the word?
A crematorium.
Crematorium. Okay, I would just call it Crematorium Smith. You kill, we grill. And that's how I would answer every single phone call.
When I was
Because
younger,
why the heck not?
when I was younger and thought such things were hilarious, I used to answer the phone, City Morgue, you stab them, we slab them.
Nice.
I've told my kids, look, when I die, just throw me in an old refrigerator cardboard box, in a big cardboard, and roll me over in a ditch somewhere. Because what the heck am I going to know or care?
Yeah.
They charge dearly.
Just throw me in the water, Tie me to a cinder block and throw me into the water.
Yeah.
Once I'm dead, I don't care, No, don't read it. Don't read it.
Yeah. He's got a very valid point there.
No.
Oh my God, a German starting a crematorium. Didn't they try that already?
Look, we're not talking about the past here, okay? Please. Also, no, he wasn't a German. He was Austrian, okay? He was born in Austria.
He was Austrian, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's. I'm sure not every funeral home is doing great out there.
Yeah.
But if you're in a high population area, which, Indianapolis, where I live, is no New York City, but it's it's got 1 million people or just short of it. So that's a lot of people dying every day.
That's a potential customer base of 1 million over a lifespan. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I can't imagine how some of these funeral homes aren't doing business, because every time you drive by them, there's cars in the lot, so they're having a funeral.
Yeah,
every time. But yeah, I mean, I could do it. I could work with a dead body. As far as being around the dead body, it's the physical, like maybe dealing with body parts thing that I would not be able to do. I don't know.
And Mustafa says, you say that till you look down from heaven and see where they put you. Look, if I even make it to heaven, that's the first assumption you're making here that I'm not so sure about.
I don't know that I'd even care in that.
Yeah.
I mean, let's assume that what you're saying is true. I'm in heaven. What do I care where my physical body is?
Why would I look down? Why would I look down on my dead body? I would look down on, the people I love, how they're doing. I wouldn't look down on where the fuck I'm sorry for the swearing, but where the fuck they buried me. I don't care.
Aaron Meredith.
I wouldn't look at my dead body like, oh, I want to see it.
Says, try working at a body farm. Yeah, no thanks.
Nah.
No, thank you. I mean, they do very important work, but
yeah,
that ain't for me.
Yeah.
It ain't for me. Being around dead people doesn't bother me. I mean, I've done it in many. I rode in the front of a hearse with the body in the back, and didn't think a thing about it. But I don't do well with blood and stuff like that,
which is ironic given your nickname.
Yeah, Bloodwing. It is. But as I've said before, that comes from some people think that comes from the Borderlands series, but it doesn't. First of all, that bird was a female and it was spelled differently. But I had this name long before that video game series. It came from an independent comic that was out in the 80s.
Mm.
I was into comic books really heavily at the time.
Yeah. Sean says, I want to see a funeral home that has one of those McDonald's counters over 1 million served. Would be, I wouldn't necessarily go there, but I would love to see it. If someone in my family, at some point it's going to happen, but I wouldn't want to go there because that's just not a nice sign. But driving past it, I'd be like, that's fucking funny.
Mama Manny says, I don't want to talk about Bloodwing. I'm sorry, baby. It brings a tear to my eye too.
Huh?
Have you never played any of the Borderlands series?
No.
There is and spoilers for those that haven't played Borderlands 2 and intend to in the future. I'm sorry. So give you a chance to Turn sound off. In Borderlands 1, one of the characters is called Mordecai, and he has a pet bird which helps you fight.
Mm-hmm.
And that bird's name is Bloodwing.
Okay.
In 2, even though you have a new set of characters you can play with, the old characters are present in the game with you. You interact with them. And Bloodwing gets kidnapped by Handsome Jack and deformed into this giant bird. And at the end of it, due to an explosive collar around his neck, blows its head off.
No.
And Mordecai just has a meltdown, no.
Yeah, understandable.
And all that, and because they're fully voiced, and all that. And, yeah, if you're into the Borderlands series, that was a sad scene. No, don't do it, Jack. Don't. But he didn't listen. So yeah, that's what she's referring to.
I see.
She was a good bird, yeah. And Mordecai was my favorite Borderlands character, still is. I mean, I like a lot of the other characters that have been in 1 and 2. I haven't played 3 yet, can't afford it. They want too much for it. I have to wait till it comes down in price. But still, hands down, Mordecai is still my favorite. And right behind that is Lilith out of the original. But I don't know. There's just something about Mordecai I really identified with. And he was, of course, the sniper of the group, and I love the snipe. And but you could also kit him out as using pistols, so he could do that too. That's the one thing about the Borderlands series. You do have choices on which way you go, even with different characters. They're not hard set into this role, necessarily.
Yeah.
They are geared toward being better at maybe that role or this role, but you can do other things with them. Speaking of exploding birds, did you throw rice at the wedding? No, we didn't throw anything. Everything was indoors. They did take the wedding party outside, took pictures in front of the fountain, but it was cold yesterday here. It was pretty chilly.
Doesn't mean you can't throw rice.
And even I wore a jacket to go out and smoke. And if I've got to wear a jacket, it's chilly.
Oh God!
I didn't zip it.
Yeah, but
and you got the bride and the bridal party in these dresses, and she's bare shouldered and all that. Doesn't want to be out there very long, but they did take pictures in front of the fountain. But the whole ceremony, the reception, everything was all in the same room. We never left that big hall. We never left. So no, we didn't throw rice or anything like that. Deck Train says camping. Hey, I used to get called a camper all the time, especially when I was playing old school Unreal. I'm not talking about Unreal Tournament. I'm talking about Unreal, the first one. And the first thing I would look for is the sniper rifle and go to town. And people accuse me of being a camper. And I'm like, yeah, and how many real life snipers do you see rushing into battle headlong?
Yeah.
Come on, I'm a sniper. That's what we do.
I understand if you're playing, I don't know, with an AK or something like that, or you're using a submachine gun or something like that, and you're just camping one corner. Yeah, I understand then that you're like, oh, camper.
To me, a camper,
a sniper. Come on.
Yeah, to me, a camper is somebody like I used to play a lot of Call of Duty, and before I got sick of being cussed out by 10-year-old kids. To me, a camper is somebody that would like pick a room of a building and huddle in the room of the building and with their heavy machine gun watching the door. And that's all they would do.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, if I'm playing as a sniper, that's not what I'm doing. I'm looking for a good vantage point.
Exactly.
And picking off people down on the bottom. And in Call of Duty, it had the kill cam. So once you killed somebody, they knew where you were because it showed it in slow motion. So you had to move. So to me, sniping wasn't that's sniping. That's not camping. If you huddle in the corner of some room or in some choke point and just watch it, that's camping. Okay, I get that. That's camping, and then that's in real life. That would be a legitimate strategy. I don't get it. Why is that taboo in games? But
it's only taboo in games for people who can't win. Who don't find a way to beat that. But yeah,
Havoc noob tubing has been around since at least Call of Duty World at War. Because people would run around, and do you know what noob tubing is, Badger Man?
I think I have an idea, but I haven't.
Grenade launcher.
Oh,
so you just run around with a grenade launcher.
I see. Yeah.
And I could be wrong, but I think World at War was the first time they introduced being able to add a grenade launcher to your rifle. Because it was a World War II game, and in the latter parts of World War II, they did have the ability of shooting grenades from their rifles.
Yeah,
the right attachment, and people would just run around just with the grenade launcher, just blasting people all the time. They called that noob tubing.
Yeah,
yeah, which is frustrating. It's aggravating. Although I will admit to every once in a while, if I was in a particularly hard group and I'm old and slow. I wasn't above using the noob tube.
The thing is, I'm okay with using a grenade launcher like every now and then. If you're like, okay, there's 2-3 opponents, or there's someone camping, there's someone hiding behind a wall waiting for his moment, and I can't shoot him through the wall. What you gonna do? Yeah, you're launching a nade at him.
Yeah,
but I think the whole idea of a noob tube came because people just spammed it.
Yeah, well, it was over.
That's why I'm like, come on, you gotta kill people by shooting too.
Yeah,
if you're just launching nades, that's a little.
Yeah, yeah. Havoc says noob tubing is only BS when you're on the receiving end. It is. It's frustrating to get blasted, or if somebody's camping a spawn point with the noob tube.
Oh God, yeah.
I'm against camping spawn points anyway.
Yeah, camping spawn is always
that is cheap. But I've never been one that cries too much about, oh, we got us a camper. We got a camper. I've tried not to be one to complain about that, because in the right circumstances, camping is a legitimate strategy, I feel.
Yeah.
But what I did take offense to is, like I said, spawn camping. That's cheap. And with the first Call of Duty Modern Warfare that come out right after World at War, with the sniper rifle, you had the quick scoping. And I hated quick scoping, mainly because I'm not coordinated or fast enough to pull it off. But so also because
skill gap there.
I know they're video games and it's video game logic, but it makes absolutely no physical sense.
Yeah.
If you don't know what quick scoping is, folks, they were able to pull a sniper rifle up, and the second the scope got to their eye, pulled the trigger and would get a kill.
Yeah,
they jump all over the place.
The fact that quick scoping didn't blow out your eye or half your eyesight, like,
if you
how
try that in real life, you're gonna probably be missing that side of your face.
Yeah, you're gonna. No disrespect, I like him a lot, but you're gonna look a bit like Dan Crenshaw,
Yeah, it just didn't make. I understand video game logic. I do. You got to suspend belief, no matter what video game it is. But there's a point to where it's like, yeah, this is stupid.
Yeah,
this is really stupid.
Yeah. I've never been a fan of shooter games, whether FPS or TPS. I don't care too much. I just don't like them because, again, you mentioned quick scoping and you weren't able to pull it off. I can't play shooter games. I'm not good at them.
Yeah.
That's just the simple truth. I'm not good at them. I'm
Well,
not. And I tried. I tried Call of Duty. I tried.
for my age, I was in my early 50s when I was still playing them, early mid 50s, and for that age group, I'd done pretty good. I'd put myself up against anybody of my age group, and I think I could beat them. And there were people in their 20s that I knew I could beat.
Like me, maybe. Probably.
Now there were some like J Kid. There was absolutely no way I was beating J Kid. The kid's too twitchy.
Yeah.
And it got frustrating to find out that 90% of the players that were beating me on the battlefield were like 10 or 11 years old.
Yeah.
First of all, this is an 18 plus game. Why are you playing?
Yeah.
Get the heck out of here. I play 18 plus games because I don't want to play with a bunch of kids. I didn't do bad. I would put myself up against anybody in my age group, and even with other people on, say, like a death match, I would end up usually middle of the pack on kills. I wouldn't be first. I did win a few matches, sure. On any given day, it's like the NFL. Any team can win.
We can't shift over to that topic if you want to.
Well, I'm afraid we'd lose half our chat. We start talking about the NFL, unfortunately. But
what if I add a couple of betting advice into it? People could actually make money,
But I didn't do bad. Generally, on average, I'd be about middle of the pack. And so I figure for a guy in his 50s, that wasn't bad.
Yeah.
So,
see, when I played stuff like my favorite games were Team Deathmatch and Capture the Flag. And on what game was it? I think it was Call of Duty Black Ops 3.
Yeah.
Which was like what 2-3 years ago, something like that. And I always the one thing I didn't want to do is die. That was the way I approached it. I just don't want to die. If I get a kill, that's nice, but I don't want to die. I know you respawn, but every death is obviously a kill for the other team. So I'm basically approaching a shooter game like an NFL quarterback. Just don't want to turn it over. Don't want to lose anything here. Just be safe, Just don't want to throw a pick or fumble the football away, That's how I was approaching it. And so my rounds usually ended up being 4-2, 5-2, the best rounds. So 5 kills, 2 deaths. It's like, yeah, I'm still 5th out of 6 players on my team. At least I didn't die, I only died twice. I had a good KD, but I didn't make a lot of points.
Yeah, I liked. I played a lot of just pure team deathmatch. It was just deathmatch, but I preferred the Capture the Flag or the other one. That the name of what this round was called eludes me.
What was the objective?
You had each team had a location that was supposed to be blown up, and there was one bomb. And you fought each other over the bomb and got it to the other location. And
God.
And I cannot remember. It was almost like a game of football because you're carrying this thing, and then they'd kill you. The other team kill you, and they're grabbing the dynamite.
You fumbled the bomb, basically.
Exactly. And then they kill you. You kill them.
Seek and destroy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was. I really enjoyed that. Wasn't good at it, but I enjoyed it. Had a lot of fun.
See, I think I would probably be good at it because again, I'm more of the sneaky kind of player, and I don't die a lot,
and a legitimate and part of that kind of lent itself to my play style and to my slower reaction time because I'm older. You know, it's just a fact of life. It happens. Because it is a legitimate strategy in that game, and also in Capture the Flag, to have people on each team watching that base area, you know, that they're trying to get to. And so, you know, I was able to do that. And only bad thing is if I killed them while they're trying to destroy it, then I've got to pick up the bomb and run it to there again. That's where I suck.
Yeah, Shio said a minute or two ago in the chat to me, he said, "I've seen you play Fortnite. You do suck, Badger." And to that I say, when I played Fortnite, which is a long time ago, it was like season 1, season 2, season 3, something like that. Now they're at season 11. I was mostly memeing. I was hiding when you were able to hide in mushrooms. I was hiding in mushrooms. I was hiding in bushes. I was memeing. I wasn't playing seriously, you know. I wasn't trying because it was a fun game if you're memeing. It's not a fun game if you go and try hard. Fortnite is not a fun game because 99% chance you're not going to win. Yeah. 99 because 100 players, only one wins, so 99 of them don't. So why bother? You know, you have a 1% chance of winning. Have fun. That's why I don't understand. Sorry for going on a rant here a little bit. Just I try to keep it short, but I don't understand why there's so many people just try-harding video games. I understand if you're doing like racing, you know, if you're just doing like a F1 or something like that. But if you're playing a shooter game, if you're playing Fortnite, something where you can build and you can hide in bushes and in mushrooms and you can do all sorts of stuff. You can build structures where you're trying to fool other people, other players, and you're trying to laugh and have fun at their expense. This is the most hilarious stuff. I don't understand why so many people try hard in video games. It's just I understand if you're playing like esports competitive. Obviously, it's about money, but you're not doing that for fun. But if you're just playing at home, you're playing for fun. Why try hard? Just have fun.
I never really tried playing it too much because I could never get it to run smoothly on my computer for whatever reason. It just ran very poorly on my computer. But what little bit I did play single player, it just wasn't my thing. And I've seen
the single. I'm going to say this as someone who has played the single player too. It is a lot different from the multiplayer.
Having said that, it is that time that you all know is going to happen at some point during the stream. The old man has to go to the bathroom, so I will be right back. If you will finally talk.
Yeah, and whoever in the chat has put his money on 80 minutes. 80 minutes. Congratulations, you won. That's how long it took him since the start of the stream, or how much is it now? Yeah, it's 78 minutes. So if you're around the 80-minute mark, congratulations, you won. And wait, Shio, you said you can hide in haystacks now? Oh God, so much meme potential. Unless they're just small haystacks, in which case that's just bad. Laugh at the expense of others. There's a German word for that. I know. But I want to keep the stream understandable for all of you. And not everyone knows what Schadenfreude is. So, But yeah, that's basically what I like to do in Fortnite. Just build, either hide somewhere where no one would expect me. The best thing was when you were able for like a week or two before they fixed it, you were able to hide in mushrooms. And the mushrooms were so big, they shrunk the mushrooms after these 2 weeks or so. And so you could still hide in them, but they were way too small, so there was no point. You were very visible. But when you were able to hide in these big mushrooms, just I used a skin that allowed me to really be hidden, that had a bit of yellow in it, similar yellow to the yellow of the mushroom. And then I was camping outside a house that was very frequented by players. And I was just sitting there. I was holding, like, I don't know, I was holding a shield or bandages or something, and I was having a shotgun in my inventory. And then as soon as someone came out of the house, it was right in front of me. I was like, "Here we go!" Jumped out with my jumped out, equipped the shotgun, and shot him in the face. And most of the time, I won. Obviously, sometimes I did lose, because I'm not good at shooter games. I told you that. You know about that. But it was fun. It was that's memeing right there. That's memeing, and I love memeing in video games if the video games allow you to do it. You know, if, as I say, racing games, they don't. It's hard to meme in racing games. At least, you know, the sim racing games like F1 and Gran Turismo Sport. In Gran Turismo Sport, at least you can meme on your livery because you can create custom liveries. In F1, you just can't meme at all. Game's a little bit too limited for that. But yeah, I just love memeing. Shia says, "Will you admit the pack got helped by the refs?" Yes, without a doubt. The pack did get help from the refs. At the same time, the Lions, I would argue, had a chance to stop the Packers. I'm just saying that, you know, at the end of the day, they could have, if they just scored one more touchdown instead of a field goal to start the game. They scored 13 unanswered to start the game on the first 3 drives. Field goal, touchdown, field goal. If they get one of them into the end zone, one of those 2 field goals, they win. They lost that game in the first quarter. And I watched that game. I watched the first half, I have to admit, because it was too late for me. Because game started like, what, 2 a.m., 2:30 a.m. And I watched that game and I thought they had 3 drives that were really, really good. They went like 50, 70, and 60 yards or something like that in the first 3 drives. Field goal, touchdown, field goal. I thought 13 points out of that, they're going to lose this. And I was right. Granted, again, it did take a little bit of help from the refs. And, you know, well, I'm willing to take that. Look, I went through the Fail Mary game, okay?
I think it's pretty much an overall consensus in the NFL this year that the officiating is as bad as it's ever been this year.
I wouldn't say
it's just awful,
but certainly this decade at the very least. I mean, excluding replacement refs.
Yeah,
I think we need to exclude that because that was whoa.
But it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. And the NFL needs to get their act together because it's bad for their game. It's you know, people are going to get frustrated.
Yeah, and the thing is, I'm very much into officiating, NFL officiating. I used to be a soccer ref for 4 years, so I have a bit of experience, you know, with being a ref and applying rules correctly and all that stuff. And I'm interested in that stuff.
Yeah.
And I love to listen to what Mike Pereira has to say, what Dean Blandino has to say, what Gene Steratore, who's I think he's with CBS now. Yeah. What these guys have to say, former refs, or in the case of Dean Blandino, the guy who literally introduced the instant replay. He was one of the key people in the NFL at the time when instant replay was introduced. He doesn't look like it. He looks quite young, but you know, he was a part of that. He was a big part of that.
What gets me is that all those guys that you mentioned who are ex-officials or were involved with the officiating in one way or another are now on broadcasts. You know, they're on
that surprises you?
No. Not that they're on broadcast. What surprises me is, you know, there'll be a play. They'll go to those guys. Hey, what do you think about this? They'll say, well, that shouldn't be a call. it should probably be reversed. And then they'll come back to the real game and they'll say,
Call stands.
the call stance is on the field. Like, good God.
That was a bad impression.
I know. Even people that used to do what you do now disagree with you. God.
Yeah, but look, the thing is, the worst thing this season, and I have an easy way to fix it. The worst thing this season is the whole pass interference challenging, and there have been what was the call? I think there were 18 pass interference challenges in the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season.
Oh, I don't
know.
Yeah.
And one got overturned out of 18. One. And my thought is there's one specific reason for that, and that reason is sitting in New York, and his name is Al Riveron.
Uh-huh.
He was the guy. He's been the NFL VP of officiating for 2 years now. Last season, if you remember, was the whole fiasco with the roughing the passer penalty.
Yeah.
Where it was specifically, and I'm going to say this right here, it was specific, like for the most part, it was just Clay Matthews getting fucked. Clay Matthews had like 3 perfectly fine sacks in one season that were all called back for bogus roughing the passer penalties, costing the Packers at least one win against the Vikings, which turned into a tie, I think.
I'm all for getting tougher on offensive pass interference, like they seem to be doing this year. I'm all for that. It takes a little bit of the heat off of the defense because it was a little one-sided on pass interference, to be honest. But they need to be consistent and get their act together on just what it is, and call consistently. But I feel like if we keep going down this road, we're going to lose half our chat because
no. But again, I have a very easy way to fix this whole thing. There's a couple things. Number one, in I think it was 2016 or 17, it was Dean Blandino who started the idea of the rule change that instant replay always goes to New York instead of the replay official and the on-field ref making the decision. It was New York getting involved and New York making the final call. Reverse that back. It's the referee looking at his tablet on the sideline, and he can get help from the replay official assigned to the game. That's fine.
Yeah.
But not New York. Screw that. The NFL VP of officiating has no business deciding actual decisions. He's too high up the order for that. He shouldn't be doing this. And certainly not Al Riveron. The guy who just decided to give the middle finger to every owner who was like, you know what, that thing that happened there with the Saints, yeah, that was bad. You know?
That ain't going to happen. Ain't going to happen.
It should. I'm not saying it will, but it should happen. Second thing.
What Clinton Whitaker's saying. He says the easiest way to fix things is to just say the Dallas Cowboys get the Super Bowl, all of the teams go home and pay their players, everyone wins.
No, screw that.
Not going to happen. No.
Screw that. That's horrible. When's the last time Cowboys won a playoff game? When did that happen? 1990?
It did seem to be better when they had it in the hands of the referees on the fields, on their tablet, on the sidelines. It did take longer. There was bigger delays in the game, it seemed like, but at least the final call was more agreeable,
Yeah.
Is the thing. But
I'm just going to say this. I'm just going to say this, Clinton. The last time Cowboys were in the Super Bowl, Christian McCaffrey wasn't even born. That's all I'm going to say about this. So, no, they should just win. But
I can at least legitimately say that the last time Indianapolis won a Super Bowl, there are no players on the NFL right now that weren't. That was 2006, and there aren't any 13-year-old players.
Yeah. There you go. I mean, last time Packers won a Super Bowl, that was 2011. There's 8-year-olds in the league.
Yeah, that isn't the last time that they were in the Super Bowl, because they did lose to the Saints a few years later. But
Mm.
yeah,
But yeah, so again, first thing, take New York out of the equation there. Second thing, the pass interference review. Only in the last 2 minutes of the first half and the last 5 minutes of the second half. Because if it happens with 5 minutes 30 left in the fourth, we need to find some kind of limit, right? Because who cares about a wrong pass interference call in the first quarter of the game? Exactly, no one. Second quarter, that's in soccer, just before halftime, you call that what's the term I need to translate in my head? A psychologically important point in the game, I think is what there's a phrase in German that
real quick, thank you, Mama Manny. She just sent me her phone number.
there you go. That's important because that could alter the way the game goes quite significantly. If you have a bigger lead going into halftime, or if you're having a smaller lead going into halftime, or flips completely.
I kind of have to disagree a little bit because okay. I know, like our coach, he would care about a pass interference call in the first quarter, because there's certain teams that you go against that that if you don't get off to a good start, you're going to lose this game. You're going to lose this game. So,
but at the same time, if you have a pass interference call going against you when it shouldn't have, or you have it going the wrong way and it's against you, wouldn't that make the team rally around more, or rally together more? Wouldn't that make the team go, all right, so the refs are not on our side, screw them, we're going to win this nonetheless?
The only thing is that's all good and dandy, and yeah, it can fire the team up. However, you can't beat the refs. You can't beat the refs. And once
look, the refs aren't going to make deliberate decisions.
Flying for the PI, it tends, I've noticed through the game, it tends to keep flying through the whole game. And that can be hard to overcome. The best, I think the only way that you're going to fix this is better education for the officials.
Yeah.
Better education for officials on just what constitutes, take it more out of the hands of the official. Make it, concrete. This is pass interference. This isn't. This is what it is. Yeah. And maybe even, make it to where, and I know many are, but some aren't, make it to where officials, that's their only job. They don't have full-time, a day job.
Yeah. Make them all go full time. Yeah, I do agree with that one too. Make them all go full time. The thing is, one issue that Mike Pereira talked about, I heard him like a couple days ago, is that apparently 7 out of the 17 refs, the head referees, are in their first or second year in the NFL.
Yeah.
And most of them do have like college experience and stuff like that, sure, yeah. But most obviously
will start. Heck, most referees, even before they get to college, will do high school.
Yeah, sure. They've gone like all those tiers up, but the speed of the game is completely different in the NFL,
and the rules are different. College rules are different.
Pass interference rules are not so much different. Like what constitutes a pass interference in college does constitute a pass interference in the NFL too. The only difference is that pass interference in the NFL has a different enforcement, where in college it's a 15-yard penalty. In the NFL, it's a spot foul.
College is a different game from the NFL. It just is. If you watch enough of both, you'll know it. It's just a different game. Yes, it's all football, but it is a completely different game.
Yeah, but again, most of the rules are the same. Look, if I had to list the rule differences between college and the NFL, I could probably do it. It would probably come up to the important ones. I would say, it would probably come up to like 8 or 10.
Yeah.
And that's
But
not much,
if,
considering the length of the NFL rulebook and the length of the college rulebook.
but
That's not much.
I truly feel that, like I said, the two things that would go the farthest into rectifying this situation is better education for the officiating crews
Mm-hmm.
on just what is and what isn't, a foul, and force them to, okay, if you want to be an official in the NFL, great, but this has to be your only job.
Yeah, make him go full time. Yeah, at
Yeah.
least make him go full time. During the season and maybe in preseason as well. They can work March to June or July. They can have another job, sure, but once preseason, once the Hall of Fame game comes around, your hours and hours alone.
Yeah.
And yeah, Shio, you're absolutely right. Pay him like it too. Obviously, if you make him go full time, you have to pay him like it. Obviously,
you're not going to tell me the NFL doesn't have the money to pay time refs.
Exactly. And the thing is, officiating is a big emphasis for them because obviously you can't have a $1 billion sport where they get crucial decisions wrong all the time. You can't have that. It runs counter to the integrity of the game. You cannot have that. It hurts the product at this point more than anything else. The officiating is the biggest.
It really is here. And I realize you're in Germany, and I can't imagine there's a whole lot of other NFL fans around you.
There's a few. Come on.
There might be a few, but it's not going to be like it is here.
Obviously not.
In America. And the talk of anybody that gets together and talks about any football is, God, did you see the terrible officiating?
Mm-hmm.
It's just that is the talk. That's just all anybody talks about.
Yeah.
How terrible the calls were. Yeah, I mean, I know you follow Pat McAfee on Twitter.
Yes.
He is livid about the officiating.
Yeah, in the words of Pat McAfee, the last thing I'm going to say about the referees is Al Riveron stinks. That's the way he says it, and I just can't disagree. I have to agree with him there. It's just Dean Blandino was a good VP of officiating. Mike Pereira before him was a good VP of officiating. What was the other guy's name?
Opinionated Scotsman. They do use video footage. It goes. There's a crew on standby in New York that the teams on the field can contact to look over the call and to say either yes, that was a good call, or no, that was a bad call. The problem is that they are such obviously bad calls, but they're standing behind the referee. As Badger mentioned earlier, there were like, what'd you say, 18 pass interference calls in the first few games, and only one was overturned.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not doing their job. They're basically, what it feels like they're doing is they're just standing behind the refs, not the game, is what it feels like.
Yeah. And it's just, I feel like Al Riveron sees himself as too much of a, like, I'm the head of the officiating and I'm the head of my officials. That's what he sees himself as, I think. And you can't have that. You cannot have someone like that in that position. You need to have someone who cares more about the integrity of the game than he cares about, oh, the refs did they messed up the call there. Oh, wow. Well, we can overturn that. And look, football fans all over the United States and all around the world, I think, would be the first ones to understand that at that speed of the game,
well, yeah,
they're not going to see everything. They're not going to get every call right. That's what the instant replay system is there for and has been there for over 2 decades now.
J Kidd amazes me. He should have been an official, because we'll be sitting here watching a ball game. He doesn't live here anymore, but when he did, we'd be sitting here watching a ball game, and he goes, "Oh, that's holding. Where?" And sure enough, here come the flag right after he'd say it.
Look, I can do the same. I think Jacob and me would both be
nothing, because at full speed, during the regular game without, at full speed. It's hard to catch all this stuff. But
It is. It really is.
I'm telling you that kid could see it every time,
Mm.
and he's on point every time.
The thing is, for me, I think that so some people have this natural, what I would call a referee's eye. They just see the game in a different way. They just look at the way they watch the games. They look for penalties. And it seems like J Kid is that kind of guy. Has he ever been an official in any sport?
I don't think so. He might have refereed like really young softball or t-ball. I'm not sure about that. I know
Okay.
and I might be getting it mixed up with myself.
Okay.
Back in the day,
if it's been that small and that young and that long,
I was
ago,
an umpire.
It's probably doesn't matter. Like when I was a referee for 4 years in soccer, I was age 16 to age 20. That's already adulthood
Way back
almost.
in my late teens and early 20s, I was an umpire in young girls softball teams.
Yeah. Oh.
It wasn't like that.
I was a referee for a couple of women's soccer games, but it wasn't like that either.
Yeah, but that's been a long. We're talking about the late 70s, early 80s.
I see. Yeah, but I feel like if someone is or has been a referee, you develop a referee's eye for the games that you watch, even in different sports. That's the weird thing. Like you just start watching the game differently. I watch soccer in a different way than most other people. Soccer. The first thing I always look at is whether a player's offside. And that's just something that for the normal viewer is just not important, not interesting. But for me, it's like, oh, I want to anticipate, I want to see what's going to happen. And so I watch it like that. And in the NFL, I do watch it in a similar way to a ref probably as well. There's a lot of times when I'm thinking, especially the one thing I love to do is on punts and punt returns and kickoff and all that, looking for illegal blocks in the back.
I love special teams plays. Of course, they've watered them down with the rules over the years.
Yeah.
Used to be special teams plays were absolute. You had your most insane players on your special teams because
guys with a death wish.
Yeah. But yeah, but to your point, and think about it, and I'll give credit to the referees. It would be hard at full speed. You've got 22 players on the field that you're watching. That's 22 people. And they've got to keep an eye on all of them. And there's only what? 1, 2, 3, 4,
7.
Yeah, seven officials.
Yeah, but the thing is so the officials they separate it between each other. So every ref has a certain obligation or a couple of obligations. So the head ref, who is on the right side behind the whole play, behind the offense, right side, he looks for holding. He looks for anything on the offensive and defensive line on the right side usually. So he looks at center, right guard, right tackle. If the tight end is blocking, if a running back on the right side is blocking, he looks at all that. And he looks at the quarterback as well. The umpire, who's on the left side behind the offense, does the same thing only on the left side. So he looks at the left tackle, left guard, center, quarterback, a running back who's on the left side, maybe a tight end on the left side, all that.
Right.
And holding again. And on run plays as well,
It's divided up between them, but still that's 22 players. And the game of NFL is very fast. It's very quick.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially on the line. When them big bodies get to smashing together, it can be hard to tell what the heck's going on.
Yeah. And then the next thing is the other 5 referees usually look for everything else, everything that's not happening in the backfield. So the what used to be called the head linesman, I think now it's called the down judge. Doesn't have Down syndrome. It's just,
Well, maybe the way it's been lately.
Or maybe it's, oh, no. No.
What I'm
But
saying
the down judge and the line judge, they look for, the short intermediate things that are going on, usually near the sideline. The what are they called? The field judge and the side judge, who are like 20 yards behind or 20 yards in front of the play. They look at what's happening on the outside deep.
yeah,
So if there's a player if there's a receiver on the outside running a go route, or if there's someone running a corner route or something like that, that's what they look at. And then you have the back judge who's in the middle on the field, but like 25 yards deep or something like that. He looks at everything that's going on basically behind the defensive line. It's happening underneath in the middle.
my
It's
point
happening
is,
deep in the middle.
my point is that it's a lot of players in a very fast paced game. So
Yeah.
I'm not mad at the officials if they miss a call that's maybe not easy to catch, or get one a little wrong or something once in a while. That doesn't upset me, because that's understandable.
Mm.
What upsets me is when it's reviewed in slow motion, zoomed in,
Yeah.
and they still don't get the call right.
Yeah. The thing is what we always have to remember, the referee and the guys in New York who are reviewing that, if there's instant replay used with them, they get to see exactly the same thing we get to see.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly the same. Every image, every frame.
Yeah, they have
we get to see
to the network's camera feeds.
Yeah, everything we get to see, they get to see, and I think for the most part, also not a bit more. So we as viewers can decide for ourselves. And honestly, I'm just having an idea. Just think about that for a second. What if? Hear me out on this one.
Are you going to say put it up to a vote for the watch?
Yes.
That would be a disaster, because all the fans of each team are going to vote their team's way.
Or you know what? No, let's do it this way, okay? Let's say the vote happens on NFL.com. You have to register before the game, or before the season probably. And you have to register with your favorite team, and you cannot vote on any decision that has implications for your favorite team. That would mean in week 17, if your team is in the playoff hunt with another team in your division, you cannot make any calls. You cannot vote in your team's game and that other team's game that's fighting for the playoff, for the division.
I mean, I like the thinking outside the box, but I just don't see that in it.
I think if you pull it off right, it works.
Because people are people, and they're going to vote with their heart, not necessarily their head.
Yeah. And the thing is, I've basically proven myself wrong already, because I've seen decisions that have been widely criticized on Twitter by NFL fans everywhere, that I looked at, and then I looked at the rule book and looked at the text, and I looked at what's going on there, and looked at not just a still image that was retweeted 100,000 times and liked 500,000 times or something like that, and I looked at the whole scene. I thought, oh, yeah, that was the right call. Like, what's all the buzz about? What that was the correct call. For example, and I'm sorry, Cowboys fans, Clinton is one, right? I'm sorry, Clinton. Dez didn't catch it. He caught it based on the colloquial understanding of what a catch is. He didn't catch it based on the way the rule was written at the time. And so you can't give him a catch if it's not a catch by the rules.
That just makes me think of, I will never forgive the NFL for I forget exactly what year it was, but it was in the early 2000s when Harbaugh was playing for us. A playoff game.
Harbaugh wasn't playing in the early 2000s for you. That was Manning. Manning was drafted in 98.
Well, it was like the next to the last year of Harbaugh, put it that
So
way.
96, 97, something like that.
And it was a playoff game against the Steelers. The winner went on to the Super Bowl. It was the conference final,
Mhm.
and it all came down to one play that we should have won that game, but they ruled it not a catch. And on replay, this was before replay, right? So on replay, it was obvious that it was a catch. So it was the catch that wasn't a catch that was a catch by Billy Brooks in the end zone. I will never forget it, and I will never forgive it. We should have been in the Super Bowl that year.
Did a lot of people complain about that being a bad call, or
sports world for until the Super Bowl anyway.
yeah? See, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about where everyone thinks it was a bad call, but it wasn't.
Well, it was a different time, and it was a little harder to tell. You didn't have Twitter,
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
it wasn't as social media then wasn't what it is now. There was no Facebook, there was no Twitter, there was none of these sites. It was still the Wild West.
Yeah, and the thing is, I'm gonna make the same argument, but about another catch that obviously the probably the most well-known catch that wasn't ruled a catch, but many people say it should have been a catch. Calvin Johnson. Based on the rules at the time, it wasn't a catch. However, the rule was bad. I'm going to make the argument, I'm going to make it very clear. The rule was bad. That ruled the Calvin Johnson catch a non-catch. And the same with the Des Bryant rule. Should Des Bryant's non-catch have been ruled a catch based on what we understand to be a catch? Yeah, I gotta be honest here. Yeah, it should have. But based on the rules at the time, no.
And there has been some bad rules through the years for sure.
Tuck rule.
At this point, though, we're almost at the end of the stream. We didn't lose half the audience, but we lost about 15 of you.
I'm sorry.
It happens when we talk football. I'm always down for it. You know me. I love my football.
I just get very passionate about it.
Football. So, yeah, we do lose some of them. But that's okay. That's okay. That's all right. It's bound to happen once in a while when you get two football fans together,
Yeah.
What are you going to do? But at this point, I'm going to open it up to any questions that there would be before we end the stream. I don't know that there's anything you want to know about us that you don't already know, but feel free.
We're going to make some German jokes again. Just one.
You think?
Yeah, and then I have to disavow it again because I'm required to by German law.
Well, you got to, protect your butt,
Yeah. I don't want to land in jail.
Well, no, I've been there, and it's not a nice place.
Oh, what? I didn't know that about you.
A couple of times in my life, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm not a furry, for fuck's sake. I'm as much of a furry as Alex is, okay?
That's not a good analogy because they'd swear he.
I know that was the whole point.
I have no idea what countries he's been to.
Okay, want me to list them all because it can get quite long. So Germany, Denmark, Norway. Let's go west next. UK, France, Netherlands, Belgium, Luxembourg, Spain. I don't think I've ever been to Portugal. Italy, Austria, Poland, Czech Republic, Hungary, Slovakia, Slovenia, Croatia, Greece, Tunisia. I don't know how to pronounce it, but and I think that's almost it. Like the only countries really that I would love to visit in Europe that I haven't yet are Portugal, Switzerland, Sweden. At this point, I'm not sure. Finland, um, and yeah, I don't know much else there. I think that's about it.
Yeah.
And of course, outside Europe, US,
Yes.
Canada,
Yeah.
you know, probably Japan would be quite interesting for a trip. Not that I'm, a weeb or anything, but just I think the all the old temples and all. I think that would be interesting to
Yeah.
see.
Well, if I were to, I've never been outside the United States, and the United
Oh,
States, it sounds odd to us to hear Europeans talk about it because it's such a small area with so many different countries. Our
yeah,
country
US
is
is
so
big.
big that that's more like us traveling to different states.
Yeah,
So we can go thousands and thousands of miles and never leave the country.
yeah. Have you ever been to Wisconsin?
I have, yes. As a matter of fact,
Oh,
I had some training in Wisconsin one time.
oh.
Uh,
Now I'm
and
jealous. I've been
uh,
to all these different countries in Europe, and I'm jealous.
it stank though. Uh,
Hey,
well,
don't you dare!
it was the city I was.
I'm gonna pull a Greta on you. How dare you?
It was the city I was in. I was in Milwaukee, and there's a lot
Okay,
of breweries in Milwaukee, and they
obviously,
stink.
yeah, I
Oh,
can see
heavens
that.
forbid it stank. But
Shio says he could go 12 hours west and still be in Texas.
yeah, exactly.
Damn, Texas is huge, man.
It takes me at least 12 hours to get from Indiana to Florida, so at
Yeah,
least that. And I'm not on the East Coast by any means, but the West Coast is a good 2,500 miles away from me.
yeah.
You know,
I'm looking right now. Texas has basically double the size, just area wise, of Germany.
it's a big
Texas
state.
is double Germany. And in Germany, basically, if you go north to south,
The
it
only
also
time
takes you like 6-7 hours, something like that, 8 hours, maybe
only
10.
time I was in Texas, I drove through the Panhandle once in the late '70s on my way to California.
Mm.
But I don't think I've been in Texas other than that. Now, Mama Minnie used to live in Texas, not a couple of years back, but she's kind of lived all over. uh, yeah, it just seems odd to us to hear what I'm saying, or at least for me. And here you go. Well, I've been to this country and that country and this country and this
Yeah,
country.
but it's
Harder
like you
for us
listing
to do
states
than
where you've
you.
been.
Yeah, it's harder for us to do than it is for you. It's
Yeah.
a lot bigger travel.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, getting to one European country for you is a longer travel than
I
for
had
me.
opportunity when I was in high school. Our band actually went to Europe. Our
Ooh.
marching band
Ooh.
went to Europe for a contest that was being held in Europe, but they wanted $800, and this was 1976.
Oh wow.
So at least triple that now would
Yeah.
be the cost. From each person, that's what we had to pay to be able to go, and my folks just didn't have that kind of money.
Let's see. When did you say 1976? 800. Calculate. Oh boy. You said triple? 4.5 times.
Yeah,
3,600 now.
and
Jesus
our folks before, they
Christ.
just didn't have that kind of money. My dad worked for the post office, for Pete's sake. He didn't make money hands over fist. We
Yeah.
done okay. We didn't starve, but
Hmm.
uh, so I did. And they also went to Hawaii, and that was only going to be $400, but we didn't have that either. But
Yeah. Oh.
I did get to go to Florida with them to a contest in Florida, so for a week. But
I mean, that's cool.
yeah, and got my picture on the front page of the Indianapolis Star.
Damn.
Yeah,
You're famous.
sort of. Yeah. There was a group. There was like a group of about 4 or 5 of us that hung out together. We were band geeks, but we were kind of like the cool band geeks. We also,
Yeah.
were potheads and whatever.
Of course.
And anyway, we all kind of hung together, and we were at the airport, and our flight was delayed, and we got bored. So we got our instruments out and started playing in the middle of the airport. And just so happened that there was a photographer for the newspaper there.
Damn.
And took our picture, and
that's cool.
Yeah, I think my dad still has a clipping of that in his photo album at home. So my big claim to fame.
Yeah. I mean, look, the Indianapolis Star is probably a bigger newspaper than whatever I've appeared in so far, which is look, I grew up in rural Brandenburg, which is a state that has, let me see here a second. There you go.
Okay, there's no such thing as posting too much. Unless you post too often, then YouTube will tell you, no, you got to wait a while. And that's YouTube doing that. So,
yeah. So Brandenburg is a state with 2.5 million people. Which, if you look at the, hold on, where's the list of U.S. states? Here, list of states and territories. 2.5 million people population. That's comparable to, it's bigger than New Mexico, smaller than Kansas. So that's pretty much where Brandenburg ends up. For comparison, Berlin as a city has about the same population as Connecticut.
Yeah.
So, and that's in the middle of Brandenburg, and it's its own state. But I grew up in rural, basically, if you will, rural Kansas, rural New Mexico.
Yeah.
Basically, that's the comparison I would make. And there's not much going on. I think the biggest newspaper we have probably reaches like, I don't know, 20,000 people, maybe 50,000.
The Indianapolis Star at that time, all newspapers have shrunk these days. We're just but at that time, it would have serviced the central Indiana area. The central part of the state, which
hold on, I think I was wrong. My goodness. So apparently, that newspaper sold 97,000, or reached 97,000 in circulation. Yeah. That's more than I expected. But yeah, still, I mean, 97,000 people right now. At the time, which was 2010, it was probably around 150,000. Well, maybe more people have seen me than I thought.
At any rate, at this point, I went ahead and let it go over a couple of minutes, since I was a couple of minutes late starting. But we're at the end of it. We're even a couple minutes past that. Having fun, and time flies when you're having fun. But thank you, chat, for coming out. I say this every episode, and I'll keep saying it every episode because I really mean it. This just couldn't happen without you guys. This channel has my name on it, but it really belongs to you, and I appreciate it. So thanks everybody for coming out, supporting us with your likes, your shares, your comments, and all of that. Badger, thank you for coming out and agreeing to be on. Anything you want to shout out?
Thanks for having me. And yes, I have started a fortnightly sim racing talk show, podcast, whatever you want to call it, with a commentator colleague of mine, and it is running on my channel. Because obviously, when you already have a channel, it's pretty easy to just take that and run with it. So if you want to subscribe to that, if you're interested in motorsports, sim racing, which is, basically racing games and the competition of that, then make sure you subscribe. Again, fortnightly, every Tuesday, usually around, what is that? I think 8 p.m. Central European time, so 2 p.m. Eastern is when we start, and it usually goes an hour and a bit. Last time we talked about a bunch of different stuff. This time I'm trying to get a guest. That guest, I'm the one I'm trying to get. I'm not just gonna say who it is. I'm just gonna say He is a commentator for the official F1 esports series,
Oh,
the
cool.
official Formula One esports series. So I'm trying to get him as a guest, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. Hopefully, we'll get him. Maybe not. Maybe he doesn't have time, but we'll see. And of course, follow me on Twitter. I'm going to put that in the chat right now. There it is.
Yeah, go do that, folks. Cool, and wish you luck on getting your guest. As for me, the next episode of Redneck Radio will be Saturday at 2:30 Eastern Daylight Time. And so check with us there, and hopefully I don't know for sure yet on which way it's going to go, but hopefully there will be an episode of Redneck Track Sunday at 5:30 Eastern Daylight Time. So keep you posted on that. I'll let you know for sure Saturday. But at any rate, thanks everybody for coming out. But our time is out, and we're going to have to get out of here. And so, as always, get out of my yard.
Bye.